or miss, you know?
Yeah.
I have some episodes where I'm like, damn, I look good in that one. And I have others where I'm like, oh my God. You can tell I did a show the night before and I just rolled out of bed.
Oh no. Yeah, this shirt is very wrinkled. It was on my couch for 2 days.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You know, it's all about the personality, really.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead and start with you introducing yourself.
Okay. My name's Junru. I go by June, and now I'm trying out a new stage name called Junie Ru because it's easier for people to pronounce. All of it. And then I'm from China. I moved to the US 10 years ago. I've been doing circus since I was 4 years old, and it's been a long time. And I also, when I came to the US, I went to film school, thinking I was going to become a director and then a cinematographer. And then I graduated in 2022 and then decided it's still much more fun to perform.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so now I'm performing full time, and I was traveling quite a bit ever since throughout my career, but now I'm trying to slow down a little bit so I can have a life.
Right. Yeah. That artist struggle, balance life.
Yeah, you're either really successful and traveling around the world, or you have a life.
Yeah. It's having both is so hard.
So hard. Yeah.
How has that having a life been going?
It's really fun. It's really fun. I think it's really overdue because when I first moved to the US, I was 21 and I was thinking I'm not gonna go anywhere anymore because I started traveling when I was 5 years old. I basically left home when I was 5, and yeah, but then that didn't happen. I still traveled. Even my mom moved to San Francisco because she remarried.
Okay.
And then her husband had lived in San Francisco for over 30 years. Wow. But then she's like, my daughter is in LA. Let's move to LA. And they asked me, are you gonna go to another place or like start traveling again? I said, no, absolutely not. And then so they moved here, and then I was gone for 4 years.
Oh my gosh!
They were like,
wild.
The whole time they were like, wait, you straight on lied to us.
Oh my gosh, I'm dead.
Yeah, but now they're really happy.
Okay.
Now I'm back and they're happy.
That's
like,
so
that
funny.
Makes sense, you know?
I mean, I feel like every time I see you, you're always like, yeah, I'm going to leave for a little while, but I'll be back.
Yeah.
Even though you still travel a little. But that's good, though. I think it's probably nicer now that you can kind of travel on your own time instead of constantly being gone.
Yeah, that's the goal. This year will only be gone for about 2 months in total.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wild. Oh my God. So you just came out with your own one-woman show.
Yes.
So fantastic. Both me and my friend were bawling.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were watching and we just started, like, it just happened. I, like, started crying, and then I looked over at her and she was, like, wiping tears out of her eyes. Oh. Yeah, it was a really fantastic show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. What like inspired you to do it? Not only inspired you, but also gave you the courage to just go for it?
I've been wanting to tell my story for a very long time. I wrote a book, and I was thinking about turning it into a screenplay and then film it. But the independent films are, you can rarely break even. That's one of the. But then I started writing it, and then one day I realized, oh wait a minute, I'm a performer. I should combine writing, and I had been taking acting classes for a while at the time. So I was thinking, oh, I already have the writing, and I'm taking acting classes, and I'm a performer. Most of all, I'm a performer. I should combine that. I should do that. And so I've been thinking about that for a very long time. And it wasn't until earlier this year when I came back from a short contract in Germany, I decided to just stay in LA for a while and see what I want to do next because I had already decided that I'm gonna stop traveling. And it's so it's actually so funny. Then I went to the park with my friend to just chat, and then this little 7-year-old was throwing frisbee with her parents, and then the frisbee hit the back of my head.
Oh no!
And then I had a concussion a couple years ago, so that very light frisbee hit actually gave me a minor, like a mild concussion, and just looking at screens was really tough for my brain.
Wow.
So I was forced to have a screen detox. I didn't do it. I couldn't read, I couldn't listen to music, and I was just existing for like a whole week.
Oh my gosh.
And then, that was actually kind of life-changing. Because I'm like, okay, now I'm just on my own, by myself. Yeah. What do I want to do next? And I realized, whoa, actually, I've been wanting to do this show for so long. And then I just started thinking about how to do it. And then I think, yeah, it's like, I don't know, the courage came from nowhere. where you're not distracted by screens.
Right.
Yeah, right. So when I started feeling better, I started writing and started talking to friends in theater and just asking for help because I didn't know anything about theater and I didn't know anything about. I had never seen a solo show before.
Wow! Oh my gosh!
And that actually helped me, I think, because I didn't have an expectation. I didn't know how much work it would take.
Right.
So I just went for it, and then I started asking. I started just going, okay, I really like your style of directing. Can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And then, yeah, eventually I found a really good support. I built a really good support system and a really good team. And then, yeah, it just happened from there, all from that frisbee.
Wow, that's wild. Oh my god. Who would have thought, get hit in the head and like, all right, let's create a one-woman show.
Yeah. It was like, oh my god, such a bummer. It was a really bad thing that happened to me. Now I can't do anything. But no, actually,
then you did something incredible out of it. That's amazing.
Thank you.
How wild. Yeah, it's been interesting. We've had quite a few women producers come on recently who have their own shows. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
It is not easy.
It's so much work. It takes over your life.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite intense. What would you say were some of like the biggest challenges and biggest rewards for you with this?
I was having nightmares of standing on stage. All of a sudden, I forgot all my lines.
Oh my gosh.
I have been performing for a really long time, but I had never really talked on stage like that. I had never really acted on stage with words. So that's one of the nightmares I was having. And the other one was I showed up on stage and there were only 5 people in the audience.
Oh no! Oh my gosh!
So I woke up and I'm like, yeah, okay, it's okay. If there were 5 people, I'll perform for 5 people. It's good. Then it'll be a really intimate show. Okay, right. So I was just ready to perform for 5 people. So definitely selling tickets, getting people in the theater, and memorizing lines and not forgetting. And then because my first show happened mid-June.
Okay.
And it wasn't until June, I think 16th, did I do this first play. Okay. So I was in another play.
Oh wow.
It was a different show, and I did it, and I realized, okay, I don't forget lines on stage. Because I kept thinking maybe I could, because there are people who can do perfect in rehearsal, but as soon as they're on stage, they forget all the lines. Right. So I was like, I could totally be that person. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Oh my gosh! Wow.
So that show happened, and I realized, okay, I'm not one of those. That's great because already like tickets are out, people are coming, and words are out.
Oh my gosh! I feel like it probably helps some, because now that I think about it, that is a lot of lines that you did. Like, but it probably helps that it's your story, right? I mean, it's your life, so probably a little easier to at least remember.
Yeah, it's true. And I also wrote it, and but there were so many, because I'm the writer. I'm constantly tweaking words here and there.
Oh my gosh.
And then it's not my first language, and my director was constantly giving me notes.
Okay.
So I had to, like, everything had to be completely muscle memory.
Wow. Yeah.
As soon as I started thinking, wait, did that grammar make sense on stage? I would just lose it all.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. Knowing now that that's what you were kind of going through after having watched it, it's pretty incredible.
Thank you.
I'm sure too. I thought it was so cute how, each character had like different, like, mannerisms, I guess. I feel like that probably helped a lot to have the muscle memory, since we're movement artists first. That probably helps to kind of trigger the lines that come out.
Yes, that's helpful. But also, so having the mannerism really helped. But another thing I found that was really hard was because I did a lot of talking upside down, and then doing stuff, and then standing up and talk, and I found it was really difficult to switch between the brains.
Yeah, I'm sure
they use two different brains.
Right. Yeah, that's. I'll have to put in a clip right here, but. For context, she was going up in handstands, holding handstands, talking. So incredible, because were you focused? I was like, maybe she just does it so much, especially when you were talking about how much they drilled you as a kid. I was just so impressed with how flawlessly you got up and back down, and you were just talking through it. Was that as hard as it looked? I mean, you made it look easy. Was it hard?
Yeah, it was really hard.
Okay.
It was so hard.
It looked so flawless, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, a lot of repetition for sure. But also, I think another hard part for me to tell this story is that I've lived in the US for 10 years, but this is a story that mostly happened in China. And I wrote it. My book is still in Chinese. I'm still working on translating it.
Oh, wow.
So the first draft, my director was like, "Oh yeah, that's too much. Like, that's too much for the American audience."
Oh, how funny!
So the whole rehearsal period, I think half was it. 50% of the rehearsal was just her cutting down stuff.
Oh, wow.
Saying that, okay, that's too much. Let's simplify it to like 20%. And so I would go home and rewrite everything, and then so stuff just, like, sections became shorter and shorter and shorter. And then when I started doing the show, I think the show, so you watched one of the last, I think you watched the last show,
one. Yeah
right. But oh my god, the first show was really cool because a lot of my friends, they just know me so well, and then they were just there to support, so they were being a really good audience. But the second show, it's a very heavy story, and when I did it, I didn't understand the comedy bits or how to build up the setup, and then where's the punchline. I didn't understand all of that. I was just doing that, and then I think at one point I like said something really heavy, and it's crazy. I think I smiled a little too late, like a couple of seconds too late. And I was at the beginning of the show, and I sort of just dragged the whole thing down. And everyone just thought, oh my god, this is such a heavy story. I can't laugh. I cannot applause. I should just be really tense. And that whole show was so tense.
Oh my god.
The whole time I'm like, are you guys looking at me? Do you guys like, should I stop? Do you want to leave? What's going on?
Oh my god.
I almost cried after the show.
Oh my god.
And then I went back and talked to the director, and she's like, okay, you need to make it light because we're in America, we're not in China.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah. I actually, just a side note, I hate watching Chinese movies because they're so, like, someone's always,
oh my god,
it's just always crazy.
It's so heavy.
It's so heavy. I'm like, so I can't.
Yeah. Like everything they talk about. It's like always trigger warning topic.
Yeah,
but like
every single time.
warning, like what's going on? Yeah, now looking back, I'm like, oh, that's too much. Sometimes
Yeah,
I find it too much.
yeah. My parents would let me watch this as a kid. They wouldn't let me watch American stuff because America is all about sex, you know.
Oh,
but like China is all about like abuse.
Yes, and normalized abuse.
Yes,
like, going through that. Like, what's the big deal?
Right? Because you know, don't even get me started.
Yes. Oh yes.
But which you know, because you know that was a lot of what your story was about. I mean, not what it was about, but like man, that's why it was so powerful, I think. And I know for me, part of the reason I started crying was because as Asian American and being raised Chinese in America and seeing how my American friends weren't raised like that and knowing it's normal for Chinese.
Yeah.
But then walking outside to my friends who are just like, oh, prom, wedding dresses. Well, I'm at home, you know, getting screamed at and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It was, I really appreciated it because the education on Chinese culture is important. You know, I feel like Americans don't understand what it is to be raised, at least in China, you know, or at least with Chinese parents. And you did so well, you know. I guess if that was something you struggled with early on, by the time we saw it, which was the last show, and I know Rachel had mentioned this to you, your comedic timing was so perfect. It was flawless. You really told the story. Like I almost felt like I was almost shocked at how lighthearted you were able to touch on such a heavy topic. You know, I was really impressed. Yeah, because it came across so genuine and so soft and just so well. So I think you know, through the refining process, you really nailed it.
Oh, thank you so
At least
much.
by the end when I saw it. So
it was definitely a journey. I'm really glad.
Sure,
Yeah, I'm really glad you saw that show, and I'm glad at the end of the run, I figured out I was making people laugh.
Yeah.
And I felt so much power in that.
Good.
And also, someone wrote this review about something that I had never thought of. They said, "Oh, the way I portrayed and the way I told the story made them feel safe to go on the journey with me."
Right. That's
I'm like,
so
okay,
true.
that's really great because I had never thought of that.
Truly.
Yeah, it's mostly my director.
yeah. I mean,
and it's also really hopeful that because I was trying to Americanize the story because it's built for I'm gonna do it mostly in the U.S. And she knows very, very little about Chinese culture.
Oh.
And just the story I'm telling.
Wow.
And how children are abused.
Right.
And like the cost of excellence and like yeah. So all of that. She did some research, but she was saying things like, "Oh, you should add that line and say like, oh, people love watching Asian kids doing that." And I'm like, but this story happened in China and all the kids are Asian.
That's so funny.
I love her so much, and she's just so funny, and she's so genuine, and she's so real with me. She's like, okay, I want more of that, but a lot less of this thing. Like we don't want to see that.
Wow.
And I appreciate her so much.
Wow.
She really built the show for me.
That's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah, such an incredible story. So I guess too, to kind of like backtrack a bit and to give like the audience more context, you performed with Cirque du Soleil at what was it?
9 years old.
That's wild. That is so wild. What was that? How long were you contracted with them in that contract, and what was that like as a kid?
I worked with them for 5 years.
Wow.
Basically grew up with them and on tour, and what that experience was like, it was really confusing.
Okay.
But mostly because I went there with my circus school / company, and so we were managed like the Chinese way.
Oh.
But then we were surrounded by international artists, and we were doing like, I wouldn't say Americanized, but like international show, like this show that's directed by Cirque du Soleil.
Right.
And they and I think also I didn't really understand because I would there's a lot of in Chinese training there's a lot of we do what the coaches say and you're never good enough.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
And your goal is to just make the show perfect and make your act perfect, and it's never perfect.
Right.
So we're constantly tweaking and watching videos, recordings, and just we have a whole training routine every single day. And then you never think about, oh, I'm performing in Cirque du Soleil,
Right.
and you never think about, oh, people were clapping for me, I must be pretty good, and people were talking, like telling me about it, but I never understood. I didn't speak much English back then. I didn't understand when they said it. I'm like, oh yeah, you guys are just nice to everyone. You guys are pretty much you're just nice. And then I really started learning English, and I think by the 4th and 5th year, I was able to actually communicate with them. And then,
oh wow,
yeah, I realized, and people were really genuinely telling me how good I was and how much of an artist I was. And there were just so much confusion.
Right.
And I think it also reflected in my show, where I'm like, no, I'm not an artist. I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm shit. Like, I'm shit at what I do, and I'm never good enough. And but what's that thing you're talking about? What's an artist? Like, how can I?
Wow.
How what's some And so there's just a lot of what is happening.
Right.
I'm doing exactly the same thing, but why is it seen so differently by two cultures?
Definitely.
And I think it took me 5 to 10 years after to really embrace that. Wait a minute, if I'm an artist, that means I can do anything I want to do. I can be expressive. I can create. Wow,
right.
That's like a word we've never heard.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And then also have, like, I can probably feel good about my art. And so that's a whole journey. It's just thinking back, it's like, whoa, how come it took me so long? Why was it so hard for me to realize that?
Right. Wow. Yeah. No. So were you were with other kids that you had trained with? So you weren't only with like a bunch of circus adults.
Yeah, we had. Okay. I think there were about 6 or 7 teenagers.
Wow.
Like underage performers.
Wow. That's wild.
But most of them were adults,
Okay, yeah, still surrounded by, which is so crazy because I did one circus contract on a ship. Circus contracts are weird. So it's wild to me to think about. Like, I think about the ship that I was on, and if we had kids in our show, that'd be odd. Like,
oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That would be really odd.
Yeah.
It was really odd.
I'm sure. That's so wild to think about. But if there's a couple other kids, then at least that's kind of like,
yeah,
a little bit more. You're all in it together. You know.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
How was your? I was so fascinated by the story about your parents. And I'm kind of curious to know, because you sound like you're very close to them, but you also grew up away from them quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I left home when I was 5 years old, and basically I was gone ever since until I was 15. I do think I became much closer to my mom after I was 15.
Okay.
Before that, I think I just always had this feeling of, yeah, I know they're there. They will be there for me.
Right.
If I want to go home, they will be there. But I never really wanted to go home. Circus became my home, and my coworkers became my family. I was closer to them than I was with my parents, for sure, until I was 15 years old. And I think there was just so much friction between them. Like, they had so much friction in their relationship, in their marriage, and I never felt like the home was a safe place for me to be.
Right.
The circus school is much more safer. And
Interesting.
and yeah, even though actually it was even though there was abuse for sure.
Right.
So if you really look at it, it was not safer.
Mm.
But I think when I was 7 years old, my mom asked me, "Oh, if your dad and I got a divorce, who would you want to be with?" And I said, "Okay, I can make a living in the circus forever." I was already so confident at the time.
Wow.
And I said, "If you guys get a divorce, I'm not going to be with anyone. I'll just stay in circus my whole life."
Wow.
Because Chinese circus is also very different. You go into circus school, and then when you're good enough, you become you're immediately hired.
Okay.
You become their performer, and then you can perform. And when you're not performing, they pay you to train.
Oh, that's lovely. Wow, yes! That's unheard of out here.
Yes.
Wild.
And the cost is you don't get to create, you don't get to express.
Right. Yeah, you lose all your freedom.
Right. So you get paid, and then you can perform until you don't want to perform anymore. And if you want, you can become a coach.
Okay. Wow.
So I was like, I'm set. I can just spend my whole life in circus.
That's wild.
And then so my mom never, because I said that, my mom never divorced my dad.
Wow.
But really, she should have a long time ago. And then when I was 15, I really wanted to go to school, and my mom wanted me to go to school. And this was after Cirque du Soleil.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I have already done Cirque du Soleil at this age. I don't know what's there for me to explore in circus. There's still a lot, but I was so tired.
Right.
I was desperate to do something else, and just explore the world outside of circus.
Yeah.
But my dad thought it was a really good idea for me to just stay in circus all my life.
Right. That sounds like an Asian dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my mom had to divorce him to allow me to go back to home to get ready for school, basically.
Oh, okay.
So I think that was the last straw. And then, so they separated, and I was able to go home.
Okay.
And then I became really close to my mom, and I think my relationship with my dad just has always been a struggle, but we're amicable, we're friendly, and he's an actor. So after he retired,
how funny! I would
became an actor.
How funny! So no wonder he was so supportive of you doing circus. He was like, well, if my daughter does entertainment, I can too.
Yes, but also he's been a musician all his life.
Okay, that may because my dad was not supportive of me pursuing the arts. Okay. So I was so it's always interesting to hear. My dad raised me the same, but for academics, not for circus for sure.
Okay, but I'm sure you did gymnastics or
yeah. Which it was I was 3 years old watching the Olympics, and I was like, that's what I want to do. And at the time, my parents were like, okay, sure. At the time they were like still open and like open-minded. My dad was, at least. So they put me into gymnastics, and they put me with 3 international coaches. So Russian, Puerto Rican, and one was American, the wife of, or no, she was raised Russian though. She was Russian, first generation.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. So they were all very international coaches still, very similar to like my dad being Chinese. And they would just scream at me, as I'm sure you know, because we're in America. I never went through any physical abuse, but just constant screaming out my whole childhood from my dad and from my coaches, like 3 hours, 4 days a week. And then eventually I just remember in 5th grade being like, I don't want to do this anymore. I would cry on my way there. I'd cry while I was there. The only time I was happy was when I was leaving. And so they were supportive, and then they were also supportive of me leaving, and they wanted me to be an academic prodigy. So my whole childhood, like I had no social life. I went to high school and college at the same time, and then come home and study. And then it wasn't till, in college I started paying for, somebody took like mercy on me, and they gave me some like free dance studio classes, or at a very low rate. And so I started doing dance kind of as a release, and then wanted to be a dancer. And I got kicked out for wanting to be a dancer because also like, you know, because I quit gymnastics when I was younger, I wasn't gonna be like Asian best status, and already, you know, it being an Asian, you're never the best.
You're never
always
good enough.
yeah. I would get like, I told someone, I was like, yeah, I got like a 4.6 GPA and a 106% in like all my classes. And they're like, how is that even possible? Yeah. I was like, well, you know, it was apparently, because I did it. I would do all the extra credit, everything, just like nonstop. Like, so I was done with all my academics by 20.
Whoa.
Yeah, but you know, I wasn't allowed to really work, so I had nothing. And the day after I graduated, my dad was like, you get a business job or you're out. And I was like, I can't do another 5 years of being trapped indoors, like at some computer.
You just want to move.
Yeah, I needed to, and I was like trapped in my room so much. I just wanted to be in the world, you know?
Oh yeah.
So I left to church and I never came back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said they're in California.
Yeah.
But you're separate. You're like away from them and living your own life.
Yeah, I didn't talk to them for 6 years.
Wow.
And just completely. Well, I ran away and got married, and that was a whole saga. Okay. And then after the divorce, I just completely changed my identity. Like dyed my hair blue, moved out here. Nobody knew where I was.
Oh. Okay.
I like almost changed my name. I was starting to go by like my stage name for a bit, and then I was like, that's too weird. I'm gonna keep my name. But I just like completely switched my personality. And then it wasn't until 6 years later, my dad ended up apologizing to me.
Oh my God.
It's like,
that is so rare.
Yeah,
it's precious.
It's so, I never take it for granted. And the crazy thing is, it was a genuine, true apology that has continued through the years. Wow, you know,
so
like
he actually feels bad.
It's yeah, and like you coming having an Asian dad, you understand how mind-blowingly insane that is. Yeah. I don't know how I ended up being that lucky.
Wow. What made him want to?
I did ask him at some point, because I was shocked. You know, I didn't trust them. Because there were times they're like, oh, I'm sorry, only to turn around and like go back to doing the same shit, you know? I asked him one time, and it was kind of a combination of things. One was me leaving and just cutting him out. Right. And then two was I got married in secret. Like he actually, my uncle, who's his best friend, had hired me. So he knew where I was working, and he'd showed up once. And I was so scared when he showed up. And he took me out to lunch.
Because you didn't want your dad to know.
Yeah. I didn't want him to know. I didn't like, because my dad only screamed at me when I was a kid. He never talked to me. So when I saw him walk in, I was panicked, you know.
Oh, he showed up with your uncle.
Like my uncle was always there. Okay. And so like my uncle invited him to come. Because you know, I was so scared. Yeah. And so he took me out to lunch, and I was like just thinking about it, I want to shit myself, you know, because my dad was a scary guy. You know, he's tiny, but he could yell.
Oh, sounds like
and he'd do that thing where he would trap me in my room. He'd stand in the doorway so I couldn't get out.
Oh my God!
And I'd be stuck there for like 3 hours, just him screaming at me. And I was a really good kid. So
this sounds like a horror movie. It's like a horror movie plot.
It was. I was constantly terrified, like all the time. Because even though he never hit me, he got in my head so much.
Psychological.
It was
torture.
Just intense, you know. Yeah. So when he showed up, I was so scared, and we got lunch. And he was being so nice. Wow. And then he started crying, which I was like, what the? I'd never seen my dad cry. And he was like, please just don't get married. I was already married. He just didn't know.
You didn't know.
So it was like a huge shock. So then I just wanted to get through the lunch because I was so scared of him. Right. And then later, like my mom made me call him, and I called him and I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm already married.
Oh my God. Oh, you had to wait.
I waited until he was gone, because he didn't know where I lived either, because I was also house jumping. And so like I waited till like I was in the clear so I could just hang up if he like started screaming. But he was so shocked. He just started crying. He was like, I have to go. And he hung up, which shocked me for him to be sad, you know?
Yeah.
And like that heartbroken. So it really broke his heart because I didn't know this at the time because I wasn't allowed to date as a kid either. My ex-husband was the first boyfriend I was allowed to have.
Wow.
And so he always had this huge grand image of walking me down the aisle. So I had no idea. And like my ex-husband was a bad guy. Like he was an ex-felon and everything.
Okay.
So, like,
okay. Okay. His reaction.
Yeah. He was just like. In fact, you know, I've never told this story, and I'm just gonna share it. The first time, I think at that time, my dad didn't even know he was an ex-felon yet.
Okay, he just didn't want you to get married.
He didn't want me to get married, and he could sense that there was something going on with my ex-husband. He didn't know what, but he could tell because my ex-husband was really charismatic and just kind of really dumb and goofy. But my dad could sense there was like some mental health stuff going on, which there was, and that was what made him so scary. Is that he'd be so silly and goofy, and then just in a second snap and was like violent and scary.
Whoa.
But I'll never forget. It was like during the holidays, and I was still like associating with my family, and me, my dad, my brother, my ex-husband were all in the room around Christmas. And just out of the blue, you know, we're having a good time, and my ex-husband turns to my dad and he's like, Mr. Liu, I have to tell you something. And me and my brother look up and we lock eyes and we just run out of the room, and we're like, we are getting the fuck out of here.
Oh my God.
And so then he tells my dad how he was in prison.
Oh my God.
Dad, like it probably just, I'm sure his heart, like he already is like trying to accept the marriage, and now he finds out that not only did I get married in secret, but to someone who had done some pretty bad stuff too. It was not a small thing, you know, so he knew, you know, my dad's a really smart guy. He knew I was in danger, you know. So
wow, it must be heartbreaking for him. Because it sounds like he already has this perfect life planned for you. Like, my daughter's gonna be this, and that.
Yeah.
And this is the opposite of that.
Yeah, and it just completely, to this day, he'll still be like, man, this is never what I thought it was gonna be. Right. But he's really proud of me because he knows I did everything on my own. And when I had my first movie premiere, he came with me. And, you know, he knows that even though I'm not what he wanted me to be, he really believes in what I have going for me. So he's actually become my #1 supporter, which is really beautiful.
Yeah, so wonderful.
But it was a combination of those things, and then I guess like something happened with his best friend, where his best friend had a baby, and he actually offered to adopt the baby. Whoa. I think he wanted a redo almost, and I think they ended up keeping it because it was an affair baby too. So it was my uncle, the same uncle. Yeah. So I think those combinations of things just really rocked him to his core. You know, it wasn't like he just lost me and I went off and did some other job. Like I did some of the most extreme things a daughter could do in an act of rebellion.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it really shocked him. But yeah, that's why I think your story got to me so much, because it reminded me a lot of my own story in a lot of ways. And it's interesting to me because in China it's normal, you know?
Yeah.
But then in America it's not. And like our stories are so heartbreaking. And I think that's almost the hard thing about being Asian in America.
For sure, yeah.
You know, you're so aware that this isn't normal and it doesn't have to be like this.
But it's right there happening in your home.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I know Japan has like the highest suicide rate. They have a place called something like the Suicide Forest.
Suicide Forest.
Yeah. Yes. And it's really
it's almost
heartbreaking.
Poetic and romantic.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. It's just such a wild thing. And, you know, we actually have a lot of Asian Americans come on here because I think it's so admirable for those of us who come out to Hollywood and create. Because like you said, even you being raised in the circus, creating is just something that you're not really allowed to do, you know?
Yeah.
And you, as such an incredible artist, to not even consider yourself an artist for so long because it didn't come from that heart and soul. It came from discipline and abuse.
Yes.
Which is wild. It's wild. So, you know, I guess like that's beautiful to hear you and your mom have gotten closer. The way you share about your dad though in your story, I think is really beautiful though, because it really shocks me how you don't hear any resentment in your story. You know, your dad almost sounds like a likable guy.
We tried to justify him. I think during rehearsal this happened. I think I brought in some new material, and then my director goes, "Wow, he's not a bad guy. We don't want him to be a bad guy. He wanted the best for you."
Right.
And then I also thought it was really important to justify him, not the coach who beat me a lot, but I also tried to justify that coach, but then I'm like, okay, that's a little too much.
No.
Yeah, because he really saw my potential, and he listened to the coaches who kept saying, "Oh, your daughter's so gifted. Just pay me this much money, and I will, I will help you."
Wow.
He really listened to not the money part, but the gifted part.
Right.
And he's being a musician all his life. And then later on, we also realized, because he mostly performed locally.
Okay.
And then when he realized I had the chance to go to Beijing, to go on tour internationally.
Wow.
He was living vicariously through me, and I think I realized that during the rehearsal just a couple months ago, and I thought that's beautiful, but also, I never saw him as a bad person.
Right.
So this all made sense when I realized, now I'm almost his age when I was a kid.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow, if I was just a local performer and my daughter has so much potential and I see it.
Yeah.
Like, she has the thing that I've been wanting to have all my life.
Yeah.
I would do anything to make that happen for her.
I'm gonna cry now. Oh my god. Wow.
Yeah, because I remember when I was in Circus, so like one time he gave me a DVD and said, "Would you please give this to your music director?"
Oh.
Because he also wanted that. He wanted to go on tour and go work with big companies.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the hardest. I feel like we're about to get really deep here. But you know, that's really the hard thing, because you know, even me, I've never, even as a kid, I've never seen my dad as a bad guy. I've seen him as terrifying for sure.
Right.
But I always understood, and he always tries to explain this to me, and I'm like, I get it. You don't have to explain it. I understand. You know, for him, it's how he was raised. And I know he was beat, and he never raised hands to beat me. So I know he tried to do better.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. You know, I'm thankful I never got hit.
Right.
Could have gone without all the screaming. You know? But you know, it really, and I think this is something that I've been exploring a lot. I have a lot of friends exploring a lot, is really, what is love? You know?
Yeah.
Because you look at all these toxic relationships and it's like, well, that's not love. Then also, like, I look at my relationship with my dad and how toxic it was, and I know he loved me. I know he wanted the best for me. Like, I look at my life now, I am so disciplined. I am so hardworking.
Yeah.
I do all these projects because of my dad, because he trained me to accomplish, you know, whatever I wanted, even though it wasn't what he wanted. I have had some really great successes because of that. And so to say he didn't love me is insane, because he made me the woman I am, and I think I'm pretty great, you know?
Yeah, totally.
But it's also like, I'll never forget one time he was screaming at me, and he was like, I love you, you know? And I was like, wow, this is some really intense love then, because like, you are screaming at me about how much you love me.
So rare for Chinese parents to say those words.
Right. That's true too.
To make it clear that what I'm doing is love for
you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's why it's like, and I'm so thankful he softened up, because it wasn't until I was about 27 when he genuinely said it not screaming, which again was a shock, you know. And now, like, even when we hang up, you know, I'll be like, love you, Dad, and he'll be like, love you too, which is again really lucky. And it's interesting because him and my brother are going through something right now. And it's really wild to see how after everything he went through with me, he's doing the same thing to my brother now.
Really?
Yes. And it's so wild because he's now being so hard on him while he's being so accepting of me. And it's been an odd time for our family.
Right.
But I think I had a talk with him recently, and I think the recovery time is going to be faster. We'll see. They're supposed to have a chat soon.
Oh my God.
You know?
Maybe it's because he sees how disciplined and successful you are and determined you are. He probably thought, okay, I didn't do, like, what I did was not wrong.
Right.
I just need to let them choose what they want to do when they want to choose.
Right. You know, and it's weird because the thing with him, with my brother, because my brother's already very successful in his field. He's making crazy money.
Okay.
And my dad actually did not have high hopes for him. You know? So he's like, wow, my son's doing great, you know? But his is more about love, romance, dating, and all of that. And I won't, you know, share all of their business on here.
Right.
But it's interesting because with me having been through one marriage and it being my dad's worst nightmare, my dad doesn't really care who I date anymore. He like, you know, I think but I think it's because he knows, I guess because I went through that one.
Yeah.
And even though it was insane, I still came out of it and fought for myself. I think he's kind of like, well, I've even asked my dad, I'm like, why have you never set up an arranged marriage for me? Not that I want that, but I'm just curious. And I think he's kind of like, well, you know, with you, Alyssa, you're gonna
be fine.
Yeah, you're gonna whip that man into shape or get him the fuck out. So he's not really worried, you know. But now with my brother, it's like, I think he's concerned that my brother will get taken advantage of, or one thing or another. Which I think he just doesn't realize how tenacious his kids are. I think he finally realizes that about me. But he worries about that with my brother, to where he like comes down on him in a very unloving way.
Yeah. We have this saying in China that goes, every parents are waiting for their children to say thank you.
Interesting.
And every child is waiting for their parents to apologize.
Right. That's so true.
That's crazy.
That's so accurate.
It's such a wild dynamic.
Yeah, it's really insane.
You know.
Have you found that being raised Asian affects your relationships in love?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I can't pinpoint right away what they are, but there's there's also, I grew up in Chinese culture, like around the world, but like in Chinese culture until I was 21, and then I moved here.
Right.
And then the first couple years of dating was not fun at all.
Oh no.
It was so confusing.
Right.
Because we didn't have, at least when I was in China, we didn't really have like the hookup culture. We didn't have what is a situationship.
Right.
What's avoidant.
Yeah.
What's like you guys sleep together for months and you're still not in a relationship. I didn't understand any of that.
It's so
crazy. I was so confused.
Yeah.
The whole time I was like looking for resources and like searching online on YouTube about the cultural difference. I just could not figure it out. It took me years, really.
Wow.
And then there's so many like advices online telling you, oh, you can't be very available. You have to be busy most of the time, and like don't be present, and like you have to be doing your own thing and like pretend like you don't like them. And then, the more I read them, the more confused I
got. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Oh my God, it wasn't until maybe 3 days ago I was listening to this book called Attached.
Okay.
And they talk about all these all these online relationship all these advices that are shared by these gurus,
Okay.
they're actually perfect for avoidant people.
Interesting.
People who are avoidant, but there's a lot of them in the dating pool because avoidant people are less likely to
Right.
Yeah, so like secure people and like anxious people are more likely to commit into a relationship and just stay with that.
Right.
But so when you go out there and date, actually a lot of them are avoidant, and then of course these advices are gonna be useful sometimes because most of the time you're with the avoidant person.
Yeah.
And really, I just realized, okay, the goal is to be with someone secure, especially with like my childhood and how I was raised. I'm not unhurt and I'm not unbroken in certain ways. And I think it took me a really long time to figure out my to figure out why I react some ways, because it's also like growing up in China, you see how people how people are when they're in a relationship, in marriage. They yell a lot, they scream a lot, they get triggered a lot, and then there's a lot of, especially in my household, my home, there was a lot of violence, and I grew up thinking, oh, that's probably normal,
right?
And then I also grew up thinking, when you have a kid, the kid will just grow up. You don't really need to take care of the kid, because that's how I grew up.
Right? Yeah.
Because I left home when I was 5, and I sort of just grew up on my own.
Your parents didn't really raise you.
They didn't really raise me.
Yeah.
And then I became really like skilled. So I'm like, okay, actually, when I have a kid, maybe I should just send the kid away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it wasn't until really reason did I realize, wait, actually, what I went through was not cool. It's not normal, and I need to have compassion for myself.
Yeah,
self-compassion
absolutely.
is such a thing that's like so unheard of in Chinese culture.
Right, yeah.
And so I learned that, and then I think there were a lot of tears, because I was able to look within and then be like, okay, that little girl who was sent to train and like sent to training and was beaten by the coach, and the dad wouldn't protect her, really needed a hug and really needed to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, I think I realized, okay, yeah, when I have a kid, I want to really protect the kid and like take care of the kid.
Be a mom. Be a parent.
Mom. Right, but that came so unnaturally to me.
No, that's wild. I did wonder about that, like how that must have shaped you and your worldview and everything. Because they didn't raise you.
They didn't. They were not there.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's really interesting to hear your experience too, because I always wondered that. I always wondered what would have happened if I was raised in China, because that was an option too for my parents.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear you say that, because those were things that I had to experience, but I experienced them while I was going through it, because I would see it when I went to school, and I'd see like how my friends' parents would treat them and be like, okay, what's going on at home? Like, this is really weird,
Yeah. Oh, so you were figuring out as it was happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So trippy.
It was so confusing as a kid. It was just a constant mindfuck 24/7.
Oh
yeah. And then too, there were things like with religion. My dad didn't let me go to church, but my mom was a missionary, so she taught me to be a Christian. And then like I was told to go to church, but then I was told to honor your mother and father, which my dad wasn't letting me go to church. So then I was like being a good Christian by being at home, but then not going to church. It was so weird. Like I was so confused on so many levels.
Oh my God.
And then too, the same thing happened for me, where I hadn't been allowed to date growing up. And then my first real boyfriend, I always had boyfriends, but I couldn't spend time with them. So my first real boyfriend that I was dating, I married, and he was the first person that I didn't have sex till my wedding night, you know.
Okay.
So then when I got divorced, and I got divorced in Hollywood, and then came into this world, I remember my first hookup, like, you know, maybe a couple of times after we hooked up, I was like, so, you know, we're in a relationship now, right? Like, and he was
God! Okay, it's not just me.
Yeah, no, it's
so
not.
confusing.
I was so confused. And he was like this really famous YouTube star at the time. So I was like, well, aren't we supposed to be boyfriend and girlfriend now? Like, what do you mean? Like, we're not going to be together. Like, I was so confused.
Yes.
And then, like, for the years, it took me years to understand that you can't just sleep with someone, which is so crazy. But I had zero experience dating. I had zero experience with sex before marriage, you know? So I was like really confused for the longest time. Because then, you know, guys are always trying to sleep with you. So then I was like, well, if they're trying to sleep with me, they must like me.
They must want to be with you.
Yes. Yeah. And literally nobody taught me. That's not how it works.
That's crazy.
It was so wild. So I had to do the same thing. I would have to watch YouTubes, read books, and like learn how to date and how to say no.
Oh my God, you grew up here.
Yes, dude. It was so confusing. Like, and I think the hardest part for me was learning to say no, because in Chinese culture, like with my parents, my mom was American. But she didn't really grow up in America. So she kind of became like an Asian wife. So she was like very submissive.
Okay.
So, you know, in my culture of my home, you don't say no. You just don't. And like if you say no, you're getting screamed at, you know.
By your dad?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So then when I started dating in Hollywood, like I'd be like, you know, you don't say no. You know, and it took me years to understand.
Oh my God, and you must be scared of saying no.
Yes, I was terrified. So everyone was like, oh, you're such a hoe. And I was like, I was so confused. Yeah, I was like, I don't understand what's happening. I was like, I just didn't
like in your mind, if you said no, you could be in danger.
Yes, because even too with my ex-husband, I also wasn't allowed to say no, because he was abusive. So if I said no to us having sex, like I was sick. I remember we just got home from our engagement, and I said no because I had gotten sick on our trip, and he threw a fit. And I was like, oh, that's not good. And then as more time went on, he became more and more violent. So like I became more scared. So whenever he wanted sex, and we had sex every single day that we were married, because I was too scared to say no. So then, you know, you throw me into like dating in Hollywood, and like I had no idea that there's this whole dance, these games you got to play, and blah 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 blah. And for me, I'm just trying to survive.
Right. Yeah,
So,
of course.
It was crazy.
It's a miracle that you still like men.
I know. I've tried.
That's
like
scary.
I was like, maybe I could be a lesbian, and I was like, damn, I really like dick.
I know. Oh my God, I thought of that. I thought like that for so long.
Oh my God.
I wish I could just.
Right. I wish.
I did have a girlfriend.
Did you?
It was really nice.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, she was great. It was great. We had such good communication. It was so
nice.
We didn't have to explain anything. We just understood each other. And oh my God, period, hormones. Oh my God, no explanation. We were just there for each other, and it was amazing. It was such a good relationship. But I missed dick.
Damn.
I know.
Oh, that is such a bummer.
Close. I was like so close.
Right. I couldn't. Yeah, I had sex with a girl once, and I was like, that's not for me. I just knew right away, you know. Oh my God. But also, I'm not like a girly girl, I guess. Like I'm a girl's girl, big time. But I've had a couple short-term girl roommates. Man, dude, when these girls cry, I just don't know what to do. I feel like such a bro. And I'm just like, why are you crying? Like, this isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And then, I want to be the girl. I want to be the dramatic, crazy one.
Yes.
Like,
I totally get that.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend would say, you've spent too much time with boys. Now you're like a boy.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
She that about me.
I get it. I feel like if I ever were in a lesbian relationship, I feel like I would definitely be the one that looks like the girl and is all like, oh, shoes, nails, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would be like
more rational.
More masculine in the relationship. Unless I dated a really masculine girl, but otherwise I just can't. I could never date a feminine girl. I would lose my shit.
Yeah, I feel like because we all have masculinity and femininity in us, and when we're in a non-binary relationship, whichever one is stronger in your personality will just naturally come out.
Right. Yeah. Even when I date guys, like I tend to be pretty masculine, and like I'm trying to train myself to take on less because I have to, because that's part of the whole psychology of dating in America. I have to constantly be like, don't offer to pay, or like, don't do that much for them. Let them ask them to do something for you all the time. And I've noticed too, when I'm a bitch, I get treated way better, which I'm not naturally a bitch. I'm such a giver. But when I'm a giver, I get run over and taken advantage of.
God.
So but it's just so exhausting being a bitch, like I don't like it.
That's not you.
It's not me.
You're forcing yourself.
I am. Yeah, I'll be like, so why didn't you buy me dinner?
I love you.
Yes, they could be so much better. Like I went on a couple dates with this one guy for a bit, and he was like, every time I go out with you, it's like I have to win you over again. It's like I have to get you to fall in love with me every time. Yeah, and he's like so into me, and I was like, but if I actually care about the person and I'm there for them, I feel like they don't treat me well. It's not true every time though. That I think.
But the thing is, now I'm in a healthy relationship.
Right.
The lesson I've learned is that when it comes to the right person, you can't do anything wrong. And another thing is that I used to always worry about, oh my God, am I too masculine? Am I doing too much?
Right.
But it's like when you're in the right person, when you're with someone who's more into taking care of you, you naturally become this softer girl who doesn't feel the need of constantly doing a bitch. Yes, you can naturally, you can be a very soft and lovable bitch.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Even when I'm soft, I get bitchy on my period. Yeah. But it's different when you have to be like a high maintenance. Like I'm so low maintenance. Like I think I'm too low maintenance, And when I do act,
you're so independent.
I'm so independent. Yes.
Yeah.
But when I act more high maintenance, as much as I possibly can be, I get treated so much better.
Right.
But it's
just the paradox, which is so crazy.
Yeah, which is hard because I do like to do things myself.
Yeah, because you're so used to doing it. You're so good at it. Like, why would you want someone to do things for you when you know you can do it perfectly?
Yeah, exactly. But I have come to realize in certain relationships of mine, with the men that are truly like there for me, they really are just there for me, no matter how I act. Yeah. And I can be soft and loving and give to them, and they'll do it back to me too.
Yeah. So then it becomes reciprocal.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm so happy to hear you're in a healthy relationship now, though, especially after all the trauma of the growing up Chinese.
Yes.
Yeah, see, this is second podcast in a row, second healthy relationship we've heard of. Yes. And we actually had a relationship before that was on. We had both of them on, and they were in a healthy relationship, but they're lesbians. So,
it's easier.
I feel like it's, I think, I don't know, but it seems like it.
Right, yeah.
Women understand certain things about women better.
Women are just, in general, a little nicer to each other.
Right?
A little nicer, period.
Yeah. That's what I think. Again, I wish I was a lesbian. I really do.
I was thinking about that for a really long
Even
time.
if I was bi, you know, but yeah, I really, really love men.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but there
Oh
are
my
good men
God.
out there for sure.
Right. Yeah. I'm so happy to hear that. And it's
Asian men.
that I saw he was Asian and I was surprised.
Yes, I love Asian men.
Really?
Asian men are so nice. I feel like that's first of all, that's the baseline. In general, they're just nicer. They're just nicer.
Was he raised in America?
He was,
Okay.
yeah. Both his parents
That makes sense.
are from Laos.
Oh, okay, I could see that.
Yeah, and
funny.
I first started hanging out with him, and then I was just like, "Wow, you're so kind and nice. There must be something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And you're so
How
respectful and
funny.
considerate. What's wrong with you?"
Oh my God.
And then I'm still trying to figure out what's wrong with him.
Interesting.
But it hasn't come out yet. And I kept telling him that, and then he just laughs it off.
Does he have a sister?
He does!
I knew it. I knew it. Is he younger or older?
He's younger!
I knew it. You know, it's because my favorite person in the entire world, best person I know, is my younger brother.
Okay.
Because he was raised here also. And he's just so great.
An angel?
Yes, a true, like,
oh my
truly.
God. My boyfriend is an angel.
Yeah. I think it's something about being raised Asian and then having an older sister and seeing, because I think older sisters they do not get treated well, you know, in Asian culture, because you both have to be, you're the eldest, so you get it the hardest, and you're a girl, so you're extra protected. Whereas at least a guy, like with my brother, my dad'd be like, "Oh, go find a girlfriend." With me, he was like, locked in a box, you know?
God, yeah.
So, and then my brother also saw all my heartbreaks growing up. So, and he was so sensitive to that. And, you know.
He would listen to stories from your perspective.
Yeah,
like
and he'd see me crying, and he'd see just how heartbroken I would get. So he's such a good guy, you know? So I knew it. I was like, younger Asian brother, but raised in America.
Yes.
Oh, that's so lovely. Yeah, they are out there. Healthy relationships are out there, and what a beautiful story with everything you went through growing up. Like, you still found something healthy in the end, you know. So that's really lovely to hear.
Thank you. Yes, I feel very lucky.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I feel like this was kind of actually perfect.
Okay, yeah, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I feel like that was so just like a beautiful episode about your experience in the circus and your family, and I think it really is lovely. I know for me, it's lovely to hear about Asian culture and the comparison in American, because I think it is a very uneducated, like, there's not much education about it in America, which means there's no education about it in China. You know, I can't imagine kids growing up in that, and then that's all that they ever experience, you know. So,
you know, I was a soloist in Cirque du Soleil at 9 years old, and I worked with 3 or 4 girls who were about the same age as me and did the same act. But for all of them, as soon as there was a chance for them to quit, they immediately quit.
Wow.
They couldn't go on any longer. They hated it.
Yeah.
And I remember this girl who did the same act as me. When she was 18, we met one time. And then I think she was 21 probably. And then we were just joking about, hey, there's a big show that a lot of our friends are in. Maybe you can start training again, join them. And she immediately started crying.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so much trauma. She couldn't even do a split anymore. Like, imagine from that level to being a complete muggle.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
I wondered if training at that young age, if you can ever really lose it, but I guess you can.
I think it's mostly psychological. There's so much trauma stored in her body that she never really processed. She just quit and decided, I'm gonna leave everything behind. And sometimes I would send her photos of us being kids in Europe somewhere, she would be like, wow, that feels like my last past life or something.
Wow.
She's just completely
just totally removed from it.
yeah.
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that. I've noticed, I think we store trauma in our bodies and we each have our own specific points. I've noticed mine is in my hips. Like getting my middle splits is so hard.
Okay.
But I think that comes a lot to do with my trauma from, you know, my marriage.
I was gonna say that. Oh my god, I was
Yeah.
just thinking about that.
Yeah. And it was interesting because
Oh my god.
it took a while for me
Mhm.
to heal from it. And when I first went to therapy, when I realized how much it had messed me up,
Yeah.
my splits got deeper.
Oh my
Isn't
god.
that so weird?
Yeah, it's
So-
weird how our body, because sometimes you can't tell your brain to
Yeah.
do something, but your body just knows.
Yeah.
Your body protects you.
Yeah,
It wants to close
definitely.
up to protect you.
Yeah. It was really weird. And ever since, like, I think I'll always have a little bit of issues with my middle splits in particular. But I think that the experiences I had, the relationship I had with sex, the relationship I had with my ex-husband, it stored a lot of my trauma here. And, you know, even now, while I can't go all the way down, my middle splits now still feel decent. And honestly, like I'm much lower than I used to be. And like I can sit there in them and it doesn't feel crazy, you know?
Yeah.
I think that comes from a lot of healing and a lot of therapy and a lot of like, you know, working on recovering, like restoring my relationship with sex too was a big thing. You know, because I also didn't even really connect till we were talking about how hard it was to say no to having sex when I started dating again after my marriage. But
it's terrifying.
Yeah, it really is. It was a really confusing time coming out of all of that.
Because I think women baseline, we already have this fear of, am I gonna hurt your fragile ego?
Right.
Wounded ego when I say no.
Yeah.
But then you have another layer, which is your dad and then your first marriage. That's like, so many layers.
Terrifying. It's really, really terrifying. So, and that's like a big part of why, you know, I do this and I have this podcast because, you know, my hope, we get some pretty nasty comments from men on TikTok. It's really wild. But my hope is that there's women who watch this and realize they're not alone, you know, and realize they can move their way out of abusive relationships, whether it's family or marriages or boyfriends. Because for me, what gave me the strength to leave, have you heard of the book or the movie Eat, Pray, Love?
Yeah.
I had watched that movie and I didn't like it. It was before I was married because she was like a divorced woman and I was like, how could she be divorced, you know?
Oh, okay.
And then I was reading that book when I was married and I was sitting, we were at a laundromat, me and my ex-husband, and we were actually having a pretty decent day, but I was reading the book and I remember reading about her divorce and like the moment she knew she needed to leave her ex-husband. And that was the moment I was like, I'm going to have to leave him at some point. And it was really crazy. But I almost felt her with me in that moment saying, it's okay, you know? And like, if I had stayed in that marriage, I know it's crazy. I hope I meet her one day. Now that I think about it, I'm like, I need to tell
by
her.
A woman about herself.
Yeah.
And it was just, I can imagine it being really personal and vulnerable.
Truly.
And a lot of times that's the most powerful content for other women.
Definitely. I mean, it saved, either he would have killed me or I would have killed myself before 30 because I was so depressed by just 2 years into the marriage, you know? So it really saved my life.
So it's mostly the book that made you decide.
The book was the moment I knew.
The moment.
The real reason I left was my dog because, you know, once I saw him being potentially abusive towards her, that was a big no for me. I was like, because I always felt like my mom they're still together and it's really beautiful and I'm glad for them that they are, but I always felt like she really needed to leave him for my sake, you know? So for me, it was, I would never, any dependent I have, even if it's a dog, I would never risk that. And he really wanted to have a baby too. And so I was like, if we accidentally get pregnant, not only is one, you know, he's violent and scary.
Right.
But 2, all the mental health issues he has are going to pass down to the kid, because he would sit there and this is where, this is why it was such a heartbreaking thing for me, is because he would explain to me for hours how his mind worked. And I came to realize, like, he's trying so hard to be a good person. And that was what was so painful about it, is that he, as much as he was capable of loving someone, I knew he loved me, but he was not wired to love someone or to be good. He was wired to be bad.
Wow.
And I thought about it in terms of this, because he had ADHD. I'm pretty sure he was bipolar, and he was a narcissist. And if you think about it, people are born with deformities. They're born without limbs. They're born with like different issues.
Yeah.
So our brains aren't born perfectly formed.
Yeah.
We might have little alterations, and some people are missing chunks.
Yeah.
And so I came to realize he's missing the things that make you be selfless, that make you love people, that make you think about others, that make you want to be good.
Right.
And no matter how hard he tries, he's always battling with himself to do the right thing. It would be like painful for him to be a good person sometimes.
Wow.
It was really sad. So that was what made the marriage so devastating. And it's been a long reason why, like, I've had relationships since, but I haven't been in a long-term serious, like, to that. Well, I haven't been married again, because it was like such a devastating thing to like love someone and know that they're trying to love you.
Right.
But they're just not capable of it. So yeah, I was just so afraid if we had kids to pass that down and to have a kid tortured by that same mentality, but then to also have a kid in an abusive situation,
Right,
like,
it must be such a struggle for him on a daily basis too.
Yeah, and even, just seeing moments with the dog and being like, what if I'm gone one day and he's alone with the dog and he snaps or something? Like, there was just too many things that I was like, this is bad, So she was really what saved me, the dog. But yeah, man, it's tough stuff. But I think that's where we all just kind of have to have a little compassion and grace. And, I don't know if I'll ever forgive him. He's the one person I may never forgive, because it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I can at least understand, and let it go. And I think sometimes you have to have compassion for people and know, like, they struggle, but they're still a bad person, so you don't get a pass.
Right. Some people don't need to be justified.
Yeah, but I think we all just do the best that we can.
Yeah, sounds like he was also trying his best,
which made it sad and hard. And whatever he's doing, I hope he's figuring it out. Or back in prison, where I think it's safer.
Oh my God.
Well, that was not the note I planned on ending on. Oh my God. But hey, maybe that little extra tidbit was important to have in there. So.
Yeah. So I think I have one last thing.
Yeah, no, go for it.
It sounds like at times he was really similar to how your dad treated you as a kid. Like, that's very familiar for you.
Definitely.
And you wanted that familiarity.
Yeah.
And I also went through a lot of that. My dad was not really there when I was a kid. And so for the longest time, I would fall for emotionally unavailable people.
Right.
I'm like, you're confusing me, and you're not really there. I'm gonna chase you because I need your approval, and I need you to care for me.
Truly.
And that was
exhausting.
It was exhausting, really. Yeah. And I think it's really good to be on your own, and it was really good for me to be on my own when I realized that, and I had to go through a journey of self-healing to get to a place where I realized, okay, that was not okay, that was wrong. Right. and eventually, I think that'll be, at least for me, eventually that just became, I wasn't interested in that anymore. It became boring.
Good. That's beautiful. That's so encouraging to hear. Because I still love emotionally unavailable men. But, I talk to my mom about this a lot. What I've realized is at least in my past short-term relationships, I've come to realize they're at least not abusive anymore. They don't yell at me. They're not violent. They're very loving and caring.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not in a place where they can or should be in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I take that as a win. You know,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
you know
it's
what?
definitely a journey.
It's sometimes it's just about the stepping stones
Yeah.
until you get to that point.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm grateful I haven't been in a long-term relationship, because
Mm-hmm.
I look back at the guys I've dated and it would be not good if I had
Mm-hmm.
just jumped in with another guy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, as long as it's slowly progressing, I think that's a huge plus. And
Yeah.
so to hear that you're now at a point where you're in a healthy relationship with an emotionally available man
Yeah.
is great to hear.
Yeah.
And I think that's just, again, where we all have to have grace with ourselves and know, like, it is a journey. You know, you don't have to find that person tomorrow.
No, yeah.
And sometimes people are lessons to get us there, and
Yeah.
it happens when it's meant to happen.
Yeah,
So
totally.
yeah. Well, and on that beautiful note,
yes, I love that note.
Yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your
course.
story.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I loved it. It was so beautiful.
Yeah.
So, and we'll see the rest of you in another 2 weeks for another episode. Bye.